Wilma Mankiller was the principal chief of the Cherokee Nation from 1985 to 1995. She was the first woman to be elected chief. Wilma's accomplishments as an activist and leader were important for the Cherokee people and many others, including Native American children. As Wilma once noted, prior to my election, young Cherokee girls would never have thought that they might grow up and become chief. Wilma was born in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, the capital of the Cherokee Nation. Tahlequah was established in 1838 when Andrew Jackson forced thousands of Cherokee to relocate against their will. The Cherokee were made to leave their original home in the southeastern United States. This horrible tragedy is known as the Trail of Tears. It was just one of many times when the U.S. government took American Indian land and gave it to white settlers, plantation owners, and businessmen. Growing up in the 1940s and 1950s, Wilma and her family faced many hardships, including poverty. Although her family drew strength from their community and their land, their home had no running water or electricity. In the 1950s, Wilma's family was forced to relocate to San Francisco due to U.S. government policy. The authorities intended to break up Native American nations and separate them from their land. Wilma later described her move to San Francisco as total culture shock and her own little trail of tears. Most Native Americans who relocated found it painful to leave their land and people behind. However, many were able to meet and work with people from different Indian nations for the first time. In San Francisco, Wilma's father worked as a longshoreman and became a union organizer. Wilma became active at the Indian Center in the Mission District. Campaigns for Indian rights began to grow along with other movements for civil rights and social justice. In 1969, Native Americans involved in a group called Indians of All Tribes, the IAT, took over Alcatraz Island, a small island off of the San Francisco coast with a famous prison on it. IAT occupied Alcatraz in order to draw attention to injustices done to Native Americans. It also demanded that the United States honor promises made in past treaties with Native tribes. During the 19-month occupation, Wilma went to the island repeatedly. She later said, "For the first time, people were saying things I felt but didn't know how to say. It was very liberating." Around the country, people joined the American Indian movement to demand justice from the U.S. government. Wilma returned to Oklahoma in 1977 and went to work for the Cherokee Nation. Over the years, she worked on issues of education and community development while becoming a leading voice for justice for Native Americans. While her work in later years was a step back from the grassroots activism that changed America in the 1960s and 1970s, she made many contributions to improve the lives of her people. In 1991, she was re-elected chief, winning 83% of the vote.